I am a dreamer.
I'm a journalist.
I am a scientist.
I'm an organizer with Black Lives Matter.
I'm a social justice advocate.
I am a Muslim.
And I'm a whistleblower.
Your phone is full of private information. Photos, location data, text messages with all your friends, access to email, and all your online accounts. If you're taking to the streets to demand justice for the victims of police brutality, you may want to leave your phone at home. No matter how peaceful you're planning on being, police might arrest you, confiscate your phone, and search it. They might also try to break your phone, especially if it has evidence of their violent or illegal actions on it. I'm Micah, Director of Information Security for the Intercept, and I'm going to show you step-by-step how to prepare a cheap burner phone you can bring to protests so you can leave your main one at home. This is the Nokia 1.3. It is a $99 Android phone. I got it on Amazon. It's actually a very low-end phone, but it's pretty brand new. And this is a SIM card with 3 months of service from the prepaid mobile carrier Mint Mobile. Here's the phone. Here's the charger. And here's the battery. I'm going to start by putting the battery in. Great. All right, in order to activate this, punch the SIM card, insert your SIM, activate your SIM from mintmobile.com/activate. Enter the 11-digit activation code. So it's asking me to add my billing information, but I'm going to skip this for now. It's asking for a name and an email address. At the moment, I'm not actually trying to protect my anonymity. I'm just using Firefox. I'm not actually using Tor browser or a VPN or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and give it my real name and email address. But if you did want to remain anonymous, you have to make sure that when you're doing things like this, you don't give your real information because that compromises your anonymity. Just generated a password. It's on my clipboard. All right, and there's my new phone number that is for my burner phone. So when I am getting ready to go to the protest, I'm going to make sure to give this phone number to everybody that needs to communicate with me while I'm at the protest. And this is going to be the phone number that I'm going to set up Signal on. So the phone is powered off. I have the battery in. And here is my SIM card. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully insert it into the SIM card slot. All right. Welcome, English United States. Let's go. So I'm gonna skip Wi-Fi for now. You're welcome to connect to Wi-Fi on yours, of course, and it might make some of the downloads faster. Okay, Google services. I'm gonna turn off use location and allow scanning. I'm gonna turn off send usage of diagnostic data. And then install updates. Yeah, I want to install updates. Accept. All right, let's start. So I'm going to skip face unlock. And this is actually really important. You definitely do not want to be able to unlock your phone with a fingerprint or with your face when you're going to protests. This is because if you get detained by police, they could get into your phone without your consent. They could just put your phone in front of your face to unlock it. And what you want instead is a strong passcode or a password to make it so that they need your consent to get into your phone. Okay, screen lock. Let's see what the options are. So pattern, PIN, or password. I recommend using a PIN or a password. If you want to use a password, you can make a complicated password, but of course it takes a lot longer to unlock your phone this way. So I'm actually going to use a PIN, but I'm going to use an 8-digit PIN. And in this case, I already used a password manager to make a random PIN. So that was a completely random PIN. And while I'm setting this up, all of the passwords and PINs and things like this that I need, I'm keeping track of in a password database. So I recommend that you use a password manager as Bitwarden or LastPass or 1Password or KeePassXC. It doesn't really matter which one you choose to use, but it's really important to keep track of all of these. And this specific one, the PIN to unlock the phone, I need to make sure that I memorize this so that I can actually get into my phone. It looks like I have phone service. The first thing that I want to do is click on this. This is the Google Play Store. So you need to sign into a Google account in order to download apps on Android, but I don't want to actually sign into my normal Google account. Because this is my burner phone, if it gets confiscated and searched, I don't want the police to have access to my Google account and all of the data inside of it and everything that might give them access to. So instead, what I'm going to do is, to go along with my burner phone, I'm going to make a burner Google account. So I'm going to create a new account. And again, because this is, I'm not trying to maintain my anonymity here. I'm not trying to make it so that when I go to this protest, nobody knows that me, Micah Lee, was the person who attended this protest. I'm going to go ahead and use my real name. And it wants my birthday. I'm going to not use my real birthday. I'm just going to put something in there. Rather not say. Sure. Okay, and then a password. Let me type in a password. Okay, I just typed a password that I stored in my password manager. So, and that's important to know what the password is in case we want to later log into this account to access data from the account from a different device. I'm gonna skip. Great. So the next step is, do I want to back up to Google Drive? I'm gonna turn that off. I want to make sure that only the information that I want leaves this phone. I want to make sure that my phone is up to date. So let's scroll up and go to the Settings app. And now go all the way down to the bottom and go to System, Advanced, System Update. It's always important to install updates. Updates fix security problems, and so if there's ever updates available for your phone or for your apps, always install them. Great, the phone just finished installing updates and rebooted. So let's go ahead and unlock it. So now let's look through settings and make sure that our settings are set how we want them. Let's look at connected devices, Bluetooth. Okay, Bluetooth is off. That's good. We want Bluetooth to be off because we want to turn off all of the radio antennas in this phone if we can, because we want it to be emitting less information. Now let's go to apps and notifications, lock screen. Okay, so this sensitive notifications show sensitive content when locked. Uncheck this. So this is very important. What this means is that if you get text messages or other notifications, like Twitter direct messages, if you put Twitter on this phone or whatever, from people, then they won't show up on the lock screen. Okay, let's go to privacy. Let's see, lock screen. You could either show notifications on the lock screen or not show them at all. Definitely don't choose the show all notification content. And if you say don't show notifications at all, then it won't show anything on the lock screen, which, you know, is good, but sometimes this is convenient to be able to look at your phone and see if you have a new text message without actually having to unlock it. Actually, let's go back into privacy and look at advanced. Google location history. Okay, so location history is paused. Good, you definitely want to keep it that way. Let's show all activity controls while we're here. Web and app activity, turn that off. Pause. Okay. Location history, pause. YouTube history, pause. So what I'm doing is I'm preventing Google from tracking all sorts of stuff. And let's go ahead and go to ad settings and turn off ad personalization. Location. So use location is turned off. So basically no apps have the ability to use the location. You might need to use the mapping app while you're at the protest. And so if you do, you could just turn location on just to use it and then turn it off again. Let's go over to security. So screen lock is set to PIN. We already have it set. So this phone is locked with an 8-digit PIN. Face unlock, not set. That's good. You don't want face unlock. You don't want smart lock either. Let's go ahead and go to advanced encryption and credentials. What this means is that the phone is encrypted. The only way to access the data that's stored on this phone, like the photos that you take or the content of your signal messages or text messages, is if you have access to the PIN. So this is good. This means that if you get arrested, your phone gets confiscated, and the police want to search it, they need to know your PIN before they can access any of it. Let's go to accounts. Automatically sync data. Let apps refresh data automatically. I think that's okay to turn on, but let's go and look at the Google account. Click on account sync, and this is all of the data that is automatically getting synced. So let's actually uncheck all of this. We want to make it so that when we add stuff to the phone, it doesn't automatically get sent to Google. Now what I'm going to do is just install the apps that I need. So I'm opening up the Google Play Store. The first app that I'm going to install is the Signal app. This is an encrypted messaging app, and it's what I recommend people use when they protest. But here it is. It's the first one, Signal Private Messenger by the Signal Foundation. Let's skip adding a payment option to my Google account. Signal is done installing, so let's open it. So Signal needs access to your contacts and media in order to connect with friends, exchange messages, and make secure calls. So Signal asks for a lot of permissions, and it's a really well-designed app, and it's safe to just allow Signal to have all of these permissions. This is my new burner phone number, so I'm going to go ahead and register it. So it's sending an activation code, and it received the activation code. So I'm going to go ahead and call this Micah burner. With Signal now, you need to create a PIN that's at least 4 digits. And so similar to the phone PIN, this PIN, make sure that it is something that's random and you can keep it in your password manager. I definitely recommend everyone use a password manager. I actually like to use a separate app for encrypted messages than I do for SMS messages. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. This way I'm sure that when I open the Signal app, everything in here is encrypted. Okay, great. So I have Signal installed. So I'm going to go ahead, click my name in the corner. Let's look at the privacy settings. Screen lock. Lock Signal access with Android screen lock or fingerprint. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Screen security. Block screenshots in the recent list and inside the app. Incognito keyboard. Let's turn that on. I don't think we need to always relay calls. Read receipts and typing indicators are up to you. I'm going to turn off send preview links. Oh, registration lock. I'm going to turn this on. So if you forget your Signal PIN, when registering with Signal again, you'll be locked out of your account for 7 days. Let's turn it on anyway. So what this means is that if somebody steals access to this phone number, if someone does an attack called SIM jacking, they won't be able to take over this Signal account. Signal is all set up. So I could tap this to start sending a new message, but the only contact I have right now is myself. So I could send messages to myself if I want, which basically is just a way of storing notes on this phone. But I need to actually add contacts to my phone before I can start sending them Signal messages. I open the phone app and go to contacts. Create new contact. And then you can choose device. So when you create a new contact and you add it to the device, this means it'll only be on this phone, which is encrypted, and it won't get synced to Google or anything. So whatever contacts you add to your device will be only on this phone. And if you do get arrested and your phone gets confiscated and searched, hopefully the police won't be able to get into your phone and won't have access to your contacts. And even if they figure out what Google account you're using, that Google account won't have access to these contacts. So I'm going to go ahead and add some contacts. So the contacts that I'm going to add are people who I'm going to the protest with and want to coordinate with, or people who I think I might need to talk to during the protest. Any sort of legal support numbers that you have, like if you have if you know of a lawyer, or the local National Lawyers Guild phone number would be a good thing to add to your contacts. And just any sort of emergency contacts. Just try and think through all of the things that might happen and who you might need to call, because you're not going to have your normal phone with all of your normal contacts on it. You're only going to have this. So now that I have Signal installed, I'm going to go ahead and drag it to my home screen. In fact, I'm actually going to drag my messaging app out of there and drag Signal down to there. So this is what I'm primarily going to be using for text messaging. So you may want to install some other apps as well, like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, so that when you're at the protest, you can share photos and videos that you take. I'm going to install Twitter. Keep in mind that the more things you add to this phone and log into, if it gets confiscated, the more the police will have access to. So for example, I'm adding Twitter to this phone. I'm going to log into my Twitter account. But if I get arrested and this phone gets confiscated, then police could potentially, if they manage to get into it, gain access to my Twitter account, to my direct messages. So definitely limit what you want. So in my case, all I'm going to add is Twitter, because that's the main social media that I'm planning on using while I'm at the protest. While you're at a protest, you probably are going to want to take photos and record video. It's important to be respectful when you take photos and video of try to, respect people's wishes if they don't want to be filmed. But on the other hand, it's completely within your right to film police. It's within your right, actually, to film anything in a public space, like at a protest. That's part of the First Amendment. But you're allowed to film police, and in fact, it's important if you're witnessing police do something illegal or violent, filming police and getting a record of that is one of the few ways that we have to keep police accountable. So let's go and start by opening the camera app. This is similar to other camera apps, like let's go ahead and take a photo of those boxes. You can open the gallery app to look at the photos that you've taken. And let's look through the settings in the gallery app. Let's disable group similar faces, turn off, because we don't want to be using facial recognition. Online backup. Okay, so this is something that you might want to enable. There's some considerations about this. So first of all, if you do want to enable online backup with Google Photos, you could have it automatically upload your photos and your video that you take to your Google account, which could be really important because if you get arrested and your phone is confiscated, or if police break your phone because they want to prevent the evidence that's on it from getting out, this could actually save you, because you could actually, log into this Google account on another computer to gain access to these photos. But there's also some downsides. One of the downsides is that this is the photos that you upload to Google are not encrypted, which means that Google has access to them. And so you might not actually want Google to have a copy of all of these photos. And then another downside is that it will use a lot of bandwidth. So if you are using a prepaid SIM card like I am, where I only have 3 gigabytes of bandwidth, I might burn through it really fast uploading videos that I take. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it on anyway. Okay, so I'm opening the Google Photos app for the first time. I'm going to allow it to have access to my media. And I'm going to turn on backup. I'm going to go ahead and do original because I want the best things. And so I could check this box backup over cell data when there's no Wi-Fi. If you're using a data plan where you have a lot of data, then this is a good idea. And it might be a good idea anyway if you want to make sure that as soon as you take photos, they get backed up to the cloud in case something happens to your phone. But for now, I'm going to keep it off because I have pretty limited data that I'm paying for. I'm here in Oakland, California at a Black Lives Matter protest. I don't have my normal phone with me. I just have the burner phone, the Nokia 1.3. Bluetooth is turned off, Wi-Fi is turned off, location services is turned off. And I'm recording some video, taking photos. I have a prepaid SIM card in here, and so far, it's working great. After field testing this cheap burner phone, here are my main takeaways. If you're gonna lock it with a random 8-digit PIN, you need to give yourself time to memorize it and practice unlocking it. You don't want to get locked out of your phone when you need it. The camera quality is decent for its price, but definitely not as good as more expensive phones. Still, in situations where police might attack, I'd rather leave my expensive phone at home. The steps I took will protect my private data in case my phone gets confiscated, but it won't actually protect my anonymity. If you want to show up to a protest without the police knowing you were there, which is your right, you have to do more work. You have to buy your burner phone and your prepaid phone service with cash, and when you activate your service online, you have to use Tor browser or some other way to protect your anonymity online. And importantly, you should never turn on your burner phone at your house or have it turned on at the same location as your normal phone. You also have to worry about covering your face, which you should be doing anyways because we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and things like license plate readers. This is difficult and takes a lot of discipline and probably isn't necessary for most people. Just being able to protest without risking all your private data on your phone should normally be good enough.